Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be doing my second quarter book haul. Well, that title is actually a bit of a lie because it turns out I'm just doing a May book haul. So if you're new to my channel, I do book hauls every 3 months because I don't buy enough usually in 1 month to do a whole book haul. And so I usually spread it over 3 months. And it turns out I didn't buy anything in April. I didn't buy anything in June. My birthday was in May, so I got a load of books for my birthday, plus I did buy some. So this is a very delayed May book haul actually, because I didn't get anything in the other months. We'll still call it a second quarter book haul, but that's a bit deceiving. So let's get right on into it. So the first book that I hauled was Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematorium, and that is by Caitlin Doughty. So this is a non-fiction book about her experiences, about her starting this job in this crematorium, and it was her new profession and all of this, and then, you know, how the people around her kind of inspired her to become a mortician and all of this. And I really enjoy this. I don't write non-fiction, but I had a really good time with this, and I read it very quickly. I was doing exams and I went in and I had been watching her videos. I went in and I found it in Waterstones. I had a tiny bit left on my gift card, so I bought it and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, so that is the first book and I have already read it. I think that is basically the only one I can say that for. So now we're getting straight on into the birthday presents. I got 2 gifts from the lovely Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy, and that was the Swordsmans Lament, which I cannot say this name for the life of me. Swordsmans, and the Sword of Kaien, which, oh my god, you could literally kill someone with this. It is heavy. So yes, so thank you Cassidy for both of these. I'm very excited to read both of them. I've actually read like 20 pages of this and then put it down for, I don't remember why. I think I just did. The reading slump, we'll blame the reading slump. But anyway, so this one, Cassidy has been raving about this one. Well, I literally got 20 pages into it, I think, which, I mean, it's not long, but I got about 20 pages in, and so we only met this like royal champion, like legendary swordsman, and I think he's going to get accused of murdering the prince, and he has to prove his innocence, which sounds very interesting, and I do want to get back to it because I was really enjoying the writing so far, so I will get back to this. The Sword of Kaien, this is, I feel like it was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago maybe. This is like huge on BookTube. Everyone was raving about this. And I think it follows a mother, and she was like trained to fight and all of that, and now she lives a very normal, quiet life, and I think something changes and she has to find that fighter in her again, I think, which sounds very interesting. The writing in here is so small and it is so long, but I really want to get to this because I've heard such amazing things, and as I said, I feel like it was maybe like 2-ish years ago that everyone was talking about it, and back then I was like, oh, I need to read that, and I don't know, it has terrified me, but now I own it, so I kind of have to read it, I guess. So then we'll move on to presents that I got from my mother. So the first 3 that I got from her are the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th book in the Greatcoat series. So the first one is Traitor's Blade. I read that, I gave it 4 stars, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna continue the rest of the series, and I have been told by Cassidy that it gets a lot darker, and so I am intrigued. So that is Knight's Shadow, Saint's Blood, and Tyrant's Throne. I wanted to read the series because it's Jade's favorite series, and I have very similar tastes to her, and I did really enjoy the first book. I've heard that the series gets better as it goes on, and I'm so excited to see where it goes. So the first book follows 3 of the Greatcoats, who were like these legendary warriors who worked for the king, and the king is now gone, and they are basically, nobody likes them, is basically the bottom line. King left each of them a job to do, and so they're still trying, even though it's years later, they're still trying to finish this job that they got left, and a lot of stuff happens, and I'm so excited to continue. Another one for my mother is Gods of Jaden Shadow. This is not my usual thing, but number 1, the cover is gorgeous, and number 2, I have heard such brilliant things about it, and I've heard like the writing is beautiful, and that like it's just a very beautiful, touching story. So I think our main character releases the Mayan god of death. If she helps him, he will grant her whatever she desires, and then I think they have to go on an adventure and all of this. As I said, I've heard such amazing things about this, and again, the cover is really pretty. So Despite the fact it's not my usual thing, I do have pretty high hopes for it. So I'm excited to read it at some point. Also, it's pretty short, so I should be able to read it pretty quickly. And then the next book is Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee, and I have not read the first book yet, or the second book. I own both of them. And yet I asked for the third one for my birthday. I'm pretty confident that I will like this. Also, this is 700 pages. Also, it's really fluffy. So I can't really, I mean, I'm not gonna look at the back of it. I know that the series follows the kind of this mafia family, and they can use Jade, and if you can use Jade, you can be stronger and faster and all of this. And I think there's a new drug that lets anyone use Jade, and I imagine this mafia family don't like that. I'm really excited to read the series because I've heard such great things, and I am pretty confident that I'm going to like it. And so I'm really hoping I do, because I own all 3 books, so I have to read them. I really should stop doing that, but oh well. And the next one is another sequel, and that is The House of Always by Jen Lyons. I was waiting for the paperback to come out. I will say that the one thing is, like, these are really stiff. I still haven't finished the third one. I feel like I say that in every video. I will finish it because I loved the first book. I gave that 5 stars. And I really loved the second book as well, but I gave that 4 stars. It just didn't quite get there. It was like a super high 4 star though. And I started the third book, and like I only read like 100 pages of it, and I was like, oh, I already know this one is going to be a 5 stars. And I just cannot bring myself to pick it up for whatever reason. I'm like, I have to be in the perfect mood to read it. And I'm just like, the perfect mood is never going to come, Rebecca. Just read the goddamn book. As I said, I was waiting for the paperback of this to come out anyway. I also, and so like, I'm also gonna have to wait for the paperback of the 5th one to come out, but I might also just get the audiobook and ebook for my library. This one is 774 pages long. So that's nice. Oh, it's so big. But yeah, but as I said, I have such high expectations for the series, and I have enjoyed them so far. I know I'm going to continue enjoying them, so I just need to build up the courage to finish them. And I think, especially since I'm in a reading slump right now, picking up a huge like 600, 700 page fantasy probably isn't the best thing to do, but also maybe it is. Maybe that is what I need to do. Again, continuing on with my sequels is The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. I gave the first book in this a 4 stars. It was like a middle of the road 4 stars, like solid, but nothing like incredible. I do see why a lot of people had issues with that, because of like the writing style. Like, it is very much kind of, she's talking to you, she's on point, and then all of a sudden she remembers something and goes off on a tangent. And I can see why that annoys a lot of people. But that is very much the way that I speak. And my sister, actually, let's just correct it. That's very much the way Irish people speak. Don't ask an Irish person to tell you a story, because they will go off on 100,000 tangents. Like, that is just the way we are. And so that doesn't bother me, I think, because I'm interested. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about now? So, like, that doesn't bother me. We'll see in the second book. Maybe that'll wear me down this time. But I enjoyed it. I liked the characters. Again, nothing that I really loved. I did like their dynamic and their friendship and their banter. And again, I was intrigued by this whole like Scolomans and the magic and all of this. And I'm excited to see where this one goes. But I have heard that it ends on a cliffhanger, which terrifies me. But also, my cousin, she buys the hardbacks of them when they come out. So if it does end on a cliffhanger, I will just borrow the hardback from her when the final book comes out. because I will be waiting for the paperback, because I gotta have matching ones. Though I will say the first one is Delroy and this second one is Penguin, which kind of annoyed me a little. So I'm excited to get to this, but it's not like a super like high priority or anything. But I'm gonna get to it probably pretty quick because it's short. So those are all of the presents that I got from my mother. We're getting near the end now. So now we're going on to the lovely Christy Reads also sent me some books. The first one that I opened from her was Middlegame by Sean McGuire. This was like one of the bigger paperbacks, which I don't mind too. Which I don't really mind that much. It is also really floppy. But the one thing is, like, I can already see my fingerprints coming up on this. And I'm gonna like have to read with gloves on or something, because like I love this cover. It's stunning. But I know that my paw prints are gonna be all over it. Again, this is another book that kind of intimidates me because of the weirdness factor. I'm so intrigued about it. And I know, okay, so I think it's Roger and Dodger. They're twins. One of them is very good with words and English and language, and the other is very good with maths and numbers. And they were separated, I think, but they kind of keep coming together and finding ways to interact with each other. And then I think basically there's this fella and he kind of created the two of them, and he has a plan to basically raise them to godhood and then take it for himself, I think. So, like, based on the synopsis, like, it doesn't really give anything away, but I'm so intrigued about it because I've heard such mixed things about it. Like, people love it or they hate it, and even when people like explain it, they're like, even people who love it are like, I don't even fully like grasp everything in it. And I'm like, I'm so intrigued by this. So thank you, Christy. I hope I enjoy this. And then she also sent me From Here to Eternity by Caitlin Doty. This is actually the only other book I've read from this haul so far. Again, another one I really enjoyed. Again, another one by Caitlin Doty. So I've read all 3 of her books now. I don't own the 3rd one, but I'm probably going to buy that pretty soon. Like whenever I go into a shop and see it, I'll pick it up. And so this one, we follow Caitlin as she goes to different parts of the world and talks about the culture surrounding deaths there. So there's like, I'm trying to think, Indonesia, Mexico, Spain, Japan, etc. Just learn bits about every single part of those places and how they deal with death, their different rituals and all of that. And again, I really enjoyed this one. I'm trying to think, did I enjoy this one more? I think I might have enjoyed this one more than Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, but I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. And I'm excited for whenever she releases more stuff. So again, thanks Christy for this. And the final book that Christy got me was The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. And this book scares me because I've heard such good things about this. I mean, I know I've heard a good few people say that like this is a bit of a rough start. It takes there's a lot of info dumping. It takes a bit to get used to and all of that. The way people talk about it, it does intrigue me. Clairvoyance is illegal, and our main character Paige, she has this ability, and one day she accidentally reveals this ability and she gets taken somewhere, and then supposedly the entire scope of the story changes. And like when I hear people say that, I'm like, I'm so intrigued by that. But then I hear people say dystopian, and I'm like, oh, maybe not. So I'm so intrigued because the synopsis that everyone gives, and like the whole clairvoyance thing, intrigues me so much. And especially, I've heard such great things, especially about the later books in the series. Like, I'm intrigued. I want it. But then I hear dystopian, and I hear the first book is a bit rough. And I'm like, oh, do I want to read this? So now I've been given no choice. I always say that dystopian isn't really the thing for me, but I haven't read like a lot of adult dystopian, and so maybe what I just need to do is try some more adult dystopian. And plus this is very fantasy based, I think, so maybe that's what I need to kind of like dystopian more. And also the novella is in here because I heard a lot of people say that you should read the novella first. So the novella is in the back of this book, so I'll probably read that first. One final book to talk about, and that is The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. So this is the next book club pick for the Backups book club, which is Covers with Cassidy's book club. And I don't know who the co-hosts are, if I'm being 100% honest. Like, I'm pretty sure Mel and Cassidy and me, but I don't know who else. And I genuinely cannot give you a synopsis for this. I have no idea. I know that it's very weird and unique, and that is all I need to know. And I'm hoping that I like it more than the previous book club pick. So that brings us to the end of this book haul. I really don't want to pick up all these books. Mistakes. I dropped one. There we go. Okay, this is a bad idea. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye!